power, money, influence. Some people leave behind a legacy. Others leave behind questions that refuse to die. For years, the name Jeffrey Epstein has become more than a criminal case. It has become a symbol of secrecy, privilege, and unanswered questions. How could one man build relationships with some of the world's most powerful people? How did he avoid serious consequences for so long? And why, years after his death, do newly released documents continue to dominate headlines across America? Before we go any further, one thing is important to understand. This documentary is based on publicly available court records, official investigations, and reporting from established news organizations. Throughout this video, we'll separate verified facts from internet rumors. If a person's name appears in documents connected to this case, that alone does not mean they committed a crime. Today, we're not chasing conspiracy theories. We're following the evidence. Because sometimes, the most disturbing part of a story isn't what people imagine. It's what can actually be proven. This is the story of Jeffrey Epstein and the questions that still refuse to disappear. At first glance, Jeffrey Epstein looked like the definition of success. Private jets, luxury mansions, exclusive parties, powerful friends. Yet to the outside world, he appeared to be a wealthy financier moving comfortably among politicians, celebrities, academics, and business leaders. But behind that carefully crafted image was a story that investigators would later describe as one of the most disturbing criminal cases in modern American history. Surprisingly, Epstein did not come from extraordinary wealth. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, in 1953, and grew up in a working-class family. Those who knew him early in life often described him as intelligent, confident, and unusually ambitious. Yet many questions about his rise have never been fully answered. After leaving college without earning a degree, Epstein briefly worked as a teacher before, unexpectedly entering the world of high finance. Over the following years, his wealth grew dramatically, but exactly how he accumulated his fortune has remained the subject of public scrutiny and reporting. As his influence expanded, so did his lifestyle. He owned multiple luxury properties, including residences in New York, Palm Beach, New Mexico, Paris, and a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. His homes became gathering places for influential guests from different fields. It's important to understand something here. Meeting, knowing, or appearing in photographs with Jeffrey Epstein does not by itself imply criminal conduct. Over the years, many well-known people crossed paths with him for different reasons. Public documents often mention names because of contacts, meetings, or travel records, not because those individuals committed crimes. That distinction matters. For years, Epstein carefully projected the image of a successful businessman and generous philanthropist. But while that public image grew stronger, investigators say a very different reality was unfolding behind closed doors. According to court records and later criminal investigations, authorities allege that Epstein used his wealth, influence, and social status to exploit vulnerable teenage girls over many years. Many victims later described being promised opportunities, money, or assistance before experiencing abuse. Their accounts became central to the investigations that followed. What shocked many Americans wasn't only the nature of the allegations, it was another question. If warning signs existed for years, how did he continue operating for so long? That question would soon lead investigators into one of the most controversial chapters in the American justice system, and it would reveal decisions that are still debated today. In 2005, everything began to change. What had remained hidden for years was about to become the focus of a criminal investigation. In Palm Beach, Florida, it started with a report from the family of a 14-year-old girl. According to investigators, the teenager had been paid to visit Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. As detectives continued interviewing witnesses, they discovered that this was not an isolated allegation. More young women came forward. Then more. Their stories were different in detail, but many shared striking similarities. Investigators alleged that girls had been recruited through a referral system. Some victims said they were encouraged to bring friends, creating a pattern that prosecutors later argued allowed the abuse to continue over time. As the investigation expanded, police collected witness statements, phone records, and other evidence. The case appeared serious. Many believed Epstein was finally going to face significant criminal consequences. But then, something happened that stunned investigators, victims, and eventually much of the American public. In 2008, Jeffrey Epstein reached a controversial federal non-prosecution agreement. Instead of facing a broad federal prosecution, he pleaded guilty in Florida state court to charges related to soliciting prostitution from a minor and procuring a minor for prostitution. His sentence shocked many observers. He served approximately 13 months in a county jail with work release privileges that allowed him to leave the facility for long periods during the day before returning at night. To many Americans, it raised a difficult question. Would an ordinary person accused of the same conduct have received similar treatment? For years afterward, legal experts, journalists, and members of the public debated that agreement. Critics argued that it represented a major failure of the justice system. Supporters of the prosecutors involved defended aspects of their decisions. But the plea deal remained one of the most controversial in modern U.S. criminal justice. For many survivors, the sentence felt painfully inadequate. Several said they believed justice had not been served. The story might have ended there, but it didn't. More than a decade later, new reporting, renewed investigations, and the determination of victims would reopen. A case that many thought had already been buried, and this time, the entire world was watching. For more than a decade after the 2008 plea agreement, many people believed Jeffrey Epstein had escaped meaningful accountability. But behind the scenes, journalists continued investigating, survivors continued speaking, and federal authorities continued reviewing evidence. Then, in July 2019, everything changed. As Epstein's private jet landed in New Jersey, federal agents arrested him on sex trafficking charges involving minors. The news spread across America within minutes. Television networks interrupted regular programming. Newspapers placed the story on their front pages. For many survivors, the arrest represented something they had waited years to see, not revenge, justice. Federal prosecutors alleged that Epstein had operated a years-long scheme involving underage girls, and that some of the abuse had taken place inside his luxury homes in Manhattan and Palm Beach. During a search of his Manhattan residence, investigators reported finding large amounts of cash, valuable items, and other materials that became part of the federal investigation. Epstein pleaded not guilty to the federal charges. As he awaited trial inside the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York, attention shifted to another question. If the allegations were true, how had one man managed to operate for so many years without being stopped? Journalists began revisiting old interviews. Former employees were questioned. Court documents received renewed attention, and Americans started asking whether powerful institutions had ignored warning signs for too long. Then came the event that transformed an already extraordinary criminal case into one of the most debated stories of the decade. On August 10, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive in his jail cell. He was pronounced dead shortly afterward. The New York City medical examiner ruled the cause of death to be suicide by hanging. However, almost immediately, intense public speculation followed. Questions about jail procedures, staffing shortages, and security failures fueled wide discussion. Multiple official reviews had gone wrong, identifying operational failures, but they did not overturn the official findings regarding the cause of death. Even today, the circumstances surrounding his death continue to be debated in public conversation. What is clear is this: his death ended the possibility of a criminal trial. Many survivors said they would never have the chance to confront him in court or hear a verdict from a jury. But the investigation itself did not end. Instead, it entered a new chapter, because after Epstein's death, thousands of pages of court records, witness testimony, and investigative documents would continue to emerge, keeping the case alive and raising new questions about what those records did and did not reveal. After Jeffrey Epstein's death, many people believed the story was over. It wasn't. In the years that followed, thousands of pages of court records, deposition transcripts, flight logs, contact books, and investigative documents became public through lawsuits, court orders, and official releases. Almost immediately, the internet gave them a new name: the Epstein Files. But here's where many people get confused. The phrase Epstein Files does not refer to a single secret document. Instead, it describes a large collection of different records created over many years. Some are verified court documents, some are witness testimony, Some are flight records, some are contact lists, and some claims circulating online are not supported by the released records at all. Understanding that difference is essential. One of the biggest misconceptions is this: if a person's name appears in a flight log, address book, email, or court filing, that alone does not prove that person committed a crime or even knew about criminal conduct. People appear in records for many different reasons. Business meetings, social events, travel, employment, legal proceedings, or simply because someone had their contact information. That is why investigators evaluate documents together with evidence, not in isolation. Another important point is that the released files contain a mix of verified facts, allegations, and testimony. In the American legal system, an allegation or witness statement is not the same as a proven fact unless it is supported by evidence and established through legal proceedings. For documentary filmmakers, this distinction matters. The real story isn't just what's inside the files. It's how easily information can be taken out of context. A single page posted online can go viral within minutes. Without the surrounding evidence, it can create conclusions that the document itself does not support. Meanwhile, survivors continue to push for accountability, not only for Epstein, who could no longer stand trial, but also for anyone else who may have committed crimes if supported by evidence. The release of these records became about more than one individual. It raised broader questions about wealth, influence, institutional failures, and whether powerful people receive different treatment under the law. For many Americans, those questions remain as important today as they were when the case first dominated headlines. And as more records became public, one message became increasingly clear: separating facts from assumptions is often the hardest part of understanding the Epstein case, because in a story surrounded by speculation, the evidence still matters most. When people hear the name Jeffrey Epstein, they often think about private jets, luxury estates, powerful connections, or endless headlines. But those images can distract from the people at the center of this story, the victims. For many survivors, the greatest loss wasn't measured in money. It was measured in years of silence, fear, and trauma. Many have spoken publicly about the emotional impact of living with experiences they felt unable to share for years. Their willingness to come forward played a major role in bringing renewed attention to the case. The investigation also continued beyond Epstein himself. His longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, was prosecuted in federal court and convicted in 2021 of offenses related to recruiting and grooming underage girls for Epstein's abuse. Her conviction demonstrated that the legal system could still hold people accountable, even after Epstein's death. At the same time, the case sparked broader conversations across the United States. How should institutions respond when warning signs are reported? Can wealth or influence delay justice? How can investigators better protect vulnerable victims? These questions extend far beyond one criminal case. They have influenced discussions about victim protection, institutional accountability, and public trust in the justice system. The Epstein case also revealed another challenge of the digital age. Millions of people now get information from social media, where verified facts, speculation, edited clips, and rumors often appear side by side. That makes critical thinking more important than ever. For every shocking headline, there is a responsibility to ask, what is the evidence? What has actually been proven? Those questions matter, not only in this case, but in every case involving real people and serious allegations. Nearly every major development in the Epstein investigation generated intense public debate. Some questions have been answered through court proceedings and official investigations. Others remain the subject of ongoing discussion and public interest. What is certain is that this case changed the way many Americans think about power, accountability, and justice. And it serves as a reminder that justice is not measured by headlines alone. It is measured by evidence, by due process, and by whether victims are ultimately heard. Jeffrey Epstein is gone, but the questions he left behind are not. This story was never just about one man. It became a story about power, about influence, about justice, and about the courage of people who refuse to stay silent. For many victims, no prison sentence could erase what happened. No headline could give them back the years they lost. And no documentary can tell every part of their story. What this case ultimately teaches us is something much bigger. In a democracy, no one should be above the law, not because of wealth, not because of fame, not because of political influence. The Epstein case also reminds us to be careful about what we believe. In today's world, a rumor can spread faster than a verified fact. That's why the truth demands patience. It demands evidence, and it demands accountability. Some questions surrounding this case have been answered through courts and official investigations. Others remain the subject of public debate. Whether every question will ever be answered, no one knows. But one thing is certain: history will remember Jeffrey Epstein, not for his wealth or connections, but for a criminal case that exposed painful failures, prompted difficult conversations, and changed how millions of Americans think about justice and accountability. Thank you for watching. If you found this documentary informative, consider subscribing to Nexora Docs for more carefully researched documentaries based on verified facts, not rumors, because the most powerful stories are the ones that are true.